Hype Network presents.
On this episode of season 4, let's talk.
So in pastry, when I legit messed up first, I'll tell you, I still remember it like clearly because so we were making the I know if you heard about this bread called lavash. It's a flatbread. It's a flatbread from whatever. But so we were making this bread. So it's basically like a flatbread which is really crispy and like it doesn't really taste like a actual bread. Like it's like your papad and all that. Okay. I mean, at least the way we bake it in India, it's like that. Outside, they do it in a tandoor kind of a thing, underground and things like that. It's a whole different process, but whatever. So we bake it on trays, so it comes out like a really crispy flatbread. So my chef told me, okay, you bake this, and you better take it out in 7 minutes. Literally, he mentioned 7 minutes. Put the timer, take it out. I was an idiot. I went to go have some water or something, and I just went out of the bakery. I came back after 10 minutes. The whole thing was burnt.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Rajiv Show, and I'm your host Rajiv Doreswamy. And this show aims to help reach out to those who are currently struggling in life and to remind you that life is indeed beautiful when you're inspired to make it your own. All right, my guest today in this episode is, of course, a high school friend of mine. This guy is one creative person. Now he's into baking, and very good friend of mine from high school, Adarsh Thomas. Adarsh, hi pal, how you doing?
What's up? What's up? How are you doing?
Yeah, doing good, doing good. Anyway, could you give my listeners a little bit of background on who you are?
Okay. Rajiv and I, we were in the same school together, and then I decided to go off into a stream which not a lot of people were actually supported, but I'm guessing I don't know. I had a passion for it. But today I'm a pastry chef. I did a 4 year what do you say, BHM, Bachelor's in Hotel Management at Christ University, India, and then the advanced pastry and bakery course in Lawan Academy, India. And yeah, so I'm a pastry chef and I have my own place. So yeah,
Awesome,
that's me.
awesome. Let's get into the question portion of this conversation. Of course, is high school. Of course, me knowing you for a
High
very
school.
long time. Yeah, me knowing you for a very long time, I already know who you are in high school. Uh, but
Okay.
could you tell a little bit of background on who you are on high school to my audience, just to give them a visual?
Okay. Buddy, I mean, come on, high school was what I mean. Like, I was a bit of a nobody, a bit of a nerd, and a bit of, I don't know. What were you doing? I mean, like, the whole, I don't know, going behind a comic book that you started off with,
Yeah,
sitting and drawing stuff for that.
I was
And
that.
then,
I
I
was
don't
a
know,
creative. Yeah.
exactly. You were killing it there. So I know for some reason I don't know what you saw in me, but you pulled me to that. And we were sitting and drawing what windows and doors and I don't know what all for those comics.
Yeah.
And apart from that, it was a lot of about I mean, like I don't know a lot of things my parents forced me to do, but it actually came out right for me because I was one of the youngest black belts in India
Yeah.
and a national level martial artist and things like that. But yeah, that was pretty much high school for me.
This guy was this guy. My perspective of my first impression of this guy. This guy is a phenomenal guy. I wanted to hang around with you, and I had to make a very good reason to hang around with you. I was a huge fan of you before, before all this madness where you disappeared and all that stuff in high school.
I mean, here
I
I
had
am right now, buddy. Half of Bangalore knows me now. What more do you want?
yeah. From high school, I had that sense. I had that Jedi future sense or whatever. Anyway, getting into the
You
next
were always such a guy.
next question is of course motivator. Now you mentioned that you're a pastry chef. You know, who is your
Yes,
greatest
sir.
motivator? As a pastry chef.
Uh, so I think my biggest motivator was always my mentor, who is Dr. Chef Evan Talib, who is faculty at Christ University initially, but is also the co-founder of Levon. And he was someone who actually pushed me through. I mean, like, trust me, everyone looks at the hotel industry, looks at the glamour,
Hmm.
and says, okay, I want to be a chef,
Hmm.
and join BHM and do things. But once you join there, that's and you finish your first internship, that's when you realize, oh shit, this is not the glamour side.
Hmm.
There's a pathetic side of it as well. And a lot of them quit. Like, I guess in my batch, there was about 46 chefs out of 60 people.
Wow.
And today, from my batch, there's only 6 people who are chefs.
Wow. They got
Can you
cleaned.
imagine? From 46 to 6. Yeah. None of them stuck to it. Everyone quit and got into, I don't know, they're working with Amazon, Swiggy, things like that.
Wow.
So, being a chef, it's not just about the passion and you want to be a chef, it's also about too much of hard work initially and then figuring things out and then establishing yourself with your own creativity
Huh.
that you'll be able to stand out. So this one person was my biggest, motivator and someone who actually got me through all of these things, and well, here I am. So
Yeah.
I guess he did something right.
A follow-up question to your motivator, your mentor. Is there a particular
Okay.
quotation that you keep from him that makes you get fired up to work every morning or whenever you start work? Is there a quotation that he says that or
His favorite thing was, oh yeah, there is one absolute brilliant stuff which he always used to say, which was, I mean, I'm sorry with a bit of vulgar language here, but this is how he says it.
yeah,
It is basically, assumptions are the mother of all fuck ups. Okay, and
interesting.
this is basically what you get into. I mean, like, morning, you get up to your shift,
Huh,
someone else has left stuff for you to take over,
huh,
and you assume that, okay, he did half of it, but then
huh,
he wouldn't have, and he would have told you also. So you assume shit, you do stuff, you
huh,
fuck things up,
huh.
you just waste a lot of ingredients, and then you get fucked over. That's about it. So that was
Ah,
his first thing. Assumptions is the mother of all fuck ups.
interesting, interesting. That I didn't expect that from the bat. And
Oh, trust
the next question, of course, is what are your thoughts for the future? I mean, what are your thoughts for the future first, and of course,
Okay.
what are your thoughts for your
Okay.
future?
So I'll put this in two parts. So my first part is me as a pastry chef. My intention is to. I mean, India as a crowd does not have a lot of insight into pastry or desserts.
Hmm.
For them, it's all about Indian sweets, yes. But when you look at internationally, they do not know what the difference between a pastry and a cake is. I mean, even today, you ask an Indian what a pastry is, they will tell you it's a biscuit.
Hmm.
But they don't know that a pastry is actually a croissant or a puff or a choux
Hmm.
pastry, or it's a short crust pastry or a tart.
Hmm.
To them, even today, a pastry is cake.
Hmm.
So I want to instill this thing in India where bring up my brand, where I try to educate people with my brand, with what they buy,
Hmm.
with the correct names, and with introduce them to new stuff, new flavors that they haven't tasted before, and things like that.
Hmm.
So with that in mind, the second part of my thing, what I wanted to say was, I'm doing stuff from home right now,
Hmm.
but I will be expanding into. So I'm doing it in Bangalore, India right now, but I will be doing it. I mean, I will be opening up a cloud kitchen in Kochi, India soon,
Hmm.
in Kerala, that is. And once that is established, I will come back to Bangalore and then start off things on my own. So I'm not looking for an investor or looking for what do you say, any funding or anything. So I'm going to do all this on my own without any of these fundings or any of that. So
Wow, that's
once I
powerful.
meet, yeah. So I mean, I don't want to depend on someone else because with what I sell, I do make money. So
Hmm.
with what I'm doing itself, I want to make it happen in my own name. So I don't have to, really rely on someone else, and I don't have to listen to someone else, because this is my idea and I want to implement this how it is. So that's my idea. So it's going to be happening in Kochi, Bangalore, and God willing, a lot of other cities in
Yeah.
India as well, if it goes well. So yeah,
Ever thought of expanding globally?
I would say, yeah. I mean, if it goes really well throughout India, then I will obviously. I mean, come on.
Oh,
I
the first
mean,
thing I'd
people love
suggest
my
is
food
Philippines.
apparently, so that's one confidence I do have. I will come there, buddy. No, I will come there.
I'd love to hear that thing. Um,
Trust me, you will have craving. You will have craving therapy in the Philippines someday. Don't worry.
I'm already craving, just with this conversation. It's been
There you go.
delicious.
See. There you
um, anyway, with the questions aside, I mean, that's the last of my questioning portion. We will come back
go. Okay.
after some few advertisements. Folks, stay tuned. After this ad, we'll be back. This episode is sponsored by Dulce House, the online shop for your guilty pleasure. Use the promo code PIPE to buy chocolate chip cookies, Oreo cheesecake cookies, and other baking goodies. The promo code is PIPE. Go to the link in the description to find out more.
The Young Leader Podcast.
Keeping it 100, trill, and authentic. Now, your host, international speaker, trainer, and your favorite human, Bryken Diao.
Bryken Diao.
Hey folks, welcome back. My guest again is of course Adarsh Thomas, my high school friend, the creative artist in pastries, and we had an interesting opening conversation. And now we're gonna get into my favorite segment of segments is of course art. And with the regards of art, I'd like to talk a little bit about pastry, because pastry is art. I mean, whether you like it or not, everybody loves a nice black forest cake, but
I mean, you
the
basically
artistry,
eat with your eyes first.
yeah. And
So,
with the black forest cake, it's art. Yes, to guys like Adesh himself, black forest is an art form, and looking at
follow
it
me on
is like,
Instagram, you will see.
yeah, basically the way in a shortcut version, basically it's like eating one of Picasso's painting or Leonardo da Vinci's painting and all that stuff. Anyway, my first question in our art talk segment here is
Huh?
that uh how uh how many years does it take to develop your craft? If let's say today uh things went bad, and of course you have to start from scratch, how many years do you reckon a person
Okay.
in your field would take to learn? What's the percentage for him to get from the beginner to, of course, probably the first step, or the amateur or the intermediate level, from that to that? How many years?
Okay, so initially, when you think about getting into this,
Hmm.
as you want to be a chef, fine. But there are two things. If you want to go wild with stuff, you'd rather be in the hot kitchen. But if you have a knack for patience and precision and intricate details, then you get into pastries. Otherwise, please not. If you don't have the patience for it, don't even get to it, because if you're working in a full-fledged kitchen where you're serving about 100 people a day, you have to make 100 portions of the same dessert
Hmm.
in 100 different plates, but each and everything has to be placed in the same place, the same style, everything. So you
Hmm.
can have a lot of patience. That's the first thing for a pastry chef.
Hmm.
Okay. So if you ask me how many years it takes, it's not about how many years it takes. It's more about what kind of a person you are. That would
Okay.
basically define you.
The discipline.
Yeah, it's basically how you as a person, look at life on the pastry shelf. the whole. I mean, like if you're someone who would rather, go in terms of, okay, fine, I want to just go wild with things,
Hmm.
then I think a hot kitchen is better for you because you can go wild with ingredients there. I mean, you take out a walk and you put in what you want. You make your own flavors. You make it robust. You make a good dish out of that.
Okay.
But with pastry, it's all about precision. Like even if I add maybe 2 grams of extra baking powder into
Hmm.
my cake will go fucked up. How it goes. I mean, that's
Granted,
that's basically how it is.
granted that you are
Yeah.
serving the
So
same quantity of people.
no, it's not just quantity of people. What I'm saying is, I mean, even 2 grams of baking powder in
Huh.
a cake
Huh.
will, make the cake overrise and then get messed up and things like that.
Huh.
But if it's a hot kitchen, like I can add maybe another 5 grams of pepper to make it more spicy for someone's preference.
Mm.
But I can't add 5 more grams of baking powder into my cake to make it, I don't know, rise faster. Now it doesn't happen that way. So
Okay.
it's more about precision and the intricate stuff in terms of pastry than hot kitchen. That's how I've always looked at it, personally
Hmm.
at least. And it's not about the years, it's more about how much you have the interest and how you can take up your passion. See, me, for example, I used to work about 16 to 18 hours a day
Wow.
just to learn these things. Yeah, I mean, I've never slept. Like my internships and all that, I think I was interning at the Ritz-Carlton Bangalore and then another pastry shop called Amand in Bangalore. It was about 18, 20 hours and all once in a while, where you just sit and you're just doing things slowly as possible because you need to get the perfection.
Hmm.
There is no going, around things. You just have to do it that way. Understood? Nothing else.
Hmm.
But once you perfect these things, like once you understand the science of
Hmm.
these things, then you can do your own thing. Then you can alternate recipes, you can make your own recipes. It is a lot of fun after that. But till you understand these concepts from its base, unless your foundation is not set, that's never gonna happen. So until your foundation is set, that depends on how long a person takes individually. It took me about 4 years for my foundation to be completely set to a point where I have my own business right now where I don't use anyone else's recipes. I make my
Wow.
own recipes right now and I bake stuff. So it took me about 4 years to set my foundation.
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
yeah, I mean it's more about how much time you put in personally and your passion and your desire, your hard
Hmm.
work. That's about it. That's
Wow.
what defines you as a chef.
Much respect to you. You are a legend of your own right. My next question.
Love my profession.
My next question reminded me of course my time when I used to perform when I was there in Bangalore.
Mhm.
And we had
Mhm.
inter colleges. I've also witnessed like inter colleges and
Mhm.
battle of the bands. In your earlier years,
Yeah.
have you ever participated in a chef bake off, or some other stuff? And what are the
No, trust
interesting
me.
things? What are the interesting things if you have like?
Okay. So let me tell you something. So
Yeah.
a lot of people say, okay, I've wanted to be a chef since I was 2 years old, 1 year old, and I've always worked for it, and I'm here today. No,
Yeah.
it's not how it works.
Yeah.
I personally did want to be a chef since I was in fifth grade. But
Huh.
trust me, I have not entered the kitchen till I actually joined BHM when I was I think that was in 2014.
Yeah.
Till then, I have not entered the kitchen. Trust me.
Huh.
My first, I mean, like I would have made maybe a Maggie when mom isn't at home, but that's about it. That's the only experience I had in the kitchen before 2014.
Huh.
But from there, after I joined BHM, and then I got the interest into it and things like that, and here I am today as a pastry chef.
Yeah.
So it's not about I mean, some people, yeah, obviously they do have that passion and they make it big from their childhood years. That's brilliant.
Hmm.
That's something else.
Hmm.
That's something amazing and brilliant. But I'm saying, not everyone needs that.
Hmm.
Even if you don't know how to cook till you're 20 years old, it's fine.
Hmm.
You have one good example right here. I'm right here. Because before that, it was, I mean, like I tell you, I mean, like I was one of the youngest black belts in India. I used to sing, I used to, play the keyboard. I used to do a lot of things apart from that. I
Yeah.
never used to enter the kitchen. But after I got into this, yeah, I stood all these things and I only stuck to this, and here I am today. But yeah, that's, I guess, you don't have to really know anything about it before. You just need 100% commitment
Huh.
and passion. That's about it. And I'll tell you one thing. Um, it's not only about knowing how to bake or cook. It's about knowing the science and understanding the theory behind things also. That's what makes you a chef
Ooh,
and not a
wow.
cook. A cook is your mother who
Hmm.
is cooking every day for you,
Hmm.
making you amazing food.
Yeah.
Respect that, it's amazing.
Huh.
But what sets you apart, what makes you a chef, is your knowledge behind the science of things and how you can correct things, how you can influence things, how you can make your own recipes into things, how you can understand food to a level where you can, tell people, okay, this is good for you, this is bad for you,
Huh.
things like that. That's what makes you a chef and not a cook. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Um, I want to ask you the next question I want to
Mhm.
ask you is, of course, uh when you for the first time, of course, you mentioned earlier, you've never hit the kitchen ever.
Mhm. Mhm.
When you were there in the first, you were there face to face experience with the chefs and of course with your colleagues. um
Mhm.
could you give us a little bit of story on where and what was your feeling like when you made your first pastry or your first project, or your first whatever homework you did in the earlier years? So like, could you take us back to that
Yeah,
timeline?
cool. Cool. So 2014, Bachelor's of Hotel Management, Christ University. So we have a bakery practical separate and the hot kitchen practical separate.
Hmm.
So in your bakery, the first thing what they teach you how to make is basically a soft roll.
Hmm.
The soft roll breads that you eat with your soup and things like that.
Hmm.
So I guess, I mean, I don't know. You just, you go in there first and they tell you how to weigh out, the flour, yeast, blah blah. I mean,
Hmm.
initially before this, they give you a theory in terms of, what flour is, what yeast is, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
And then your first practical is this: how to make a soft roll.
Hmm.
So then, you said you need things, and it's amazing. I mean, for the first time, I was weighing out things. I kneaded the dough. I weighed it out. I shaped it.
Hmm.
I put some egg wash on it, baked
Hmm.
it, came out brilliant. And for the kitchen, your first practical classes are about how to make sauces. So how you can make a bechamel sauce, velouté or espagnol.
Hmm.
It's about making those sauces initially. So I mean, it was amazing. I mean, like, even though, initially, like, I also found it a little weird in terms because I was like, okay, I've never done this before. So,
Yeah.
I was scared that I would burn something, or, I wouldn't do something properly, and, I wouldn't get it right. Like, when I shape the dough for a bread roll, it won't be shaped right.
Huh.
All those things, yeah. But yeah, yes, it worked out.
Interesting. Was the first
But that was the first experience.
the question that I wanted to follow up was, of course, when the first time you messed up and all that stuff, were you at the verge of quitting
Mhm.
at first, or you said, "Come on, come on, Adesh, I'll have to suck it up and get push on through."
Okay. See, like I told you, so I told you about my chef, right? My mentor.
Yeah.
So in pastry, when I legit messed up first, I'll tell you,
Huh.
I still remember it
Huh.
like clearly because so we were making I know if you heard about this bread called lavash.
Wow. It tastes
It's a
interesting.
flatbread. It's a flatbread from whatever. But so we were making this bread. So it's basically like a flatbread, which is really crispy and like it doesn't really taste like a actual bread. Like it's like your papad and all that. Okay.
Hmm.
I mean, At least the way we bake it in India, it's like that. Outside, they do it in a tandoor kind of a thing, underground and things like that. It's a whole different process, but whatever. So we bake it on trays, so it comes out like a really crispy flatbread.
Hmm.
So my chef told me, okay, you bake this,
Hmm.
and you better take it out in 7 minutes. Literally, he mentioned 7 minutes.
Hmm.
Put the timer, take it out. I was an idiot. I went to go have some water or something, and I just went out of the bakery.
Huh.
I came back after 10 minutes. The whole thing was burnt.
Oh.
My man here chased me around the bloody bakery with one chopping board. And I'm just glad he didn't kill me that day. But
Wow.
yeah. I mean that was my first screw up, okay? Where I literally, like, when I took out that tray, it was black. Like each and every one of those flatbreads were black in color. That's how
Wow.
burnt it was.
Must
That was
have been
my first
scary.
screw up. Oh yeah. So, and plus my chef is running behind me with a chopping board, like about to hit me. He literally chased me around the whole bakery with the chopping board about to hit me. That's how it was. So
Whoa.
that was my first screw up in
Intense.
the food. Exactly. But I don't know. I mean, that I don't know that I think that made me a better person in a way, because he did get one shot at me, by the way.
Huh.
He did manage to hit me once with the chopping board,
Huh.
and then he said, "You idiot! I told you 7 minutes.
Huh.
The three extra minutes you were outside. That was on you.
Huh.
So now you sit and make another 100 portions of this, and then you
Whoa.
leave calling." The entire night I sat and made 100 portions
Wow.
of it, and then I left.
Man, that is intense. That's wow.
But I learned patience. But that's how I learned patience. That's how I learned, because
Yeah, I guess.
I was initially a very impatient person. Trust me, I will not sit in one place. I think you know I was a very restless person.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you couldn't sit down and yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, exactly. So I
Wow.
think these are the small things that actually taught me patience. Sit in a place, do something patiently, no matter how long it takes. Don't go anywhere, especially when something is baking for 7 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Stay. Don't let it burn. So yeah, I guess that's how this worked out.
Wow. I mean, okay. I want to add up. I want to add a little bit of touch up to the previous things that you've mentioned. The
Huh?
first thing you've mentioned when becoming a pastry chef, of course, is having that discipline, that drive. And you mentioned earlier,
Okay.
of course, was patience. Do you have a top
Yeah.
5 rules that applies to you in terms of in terms of like rules of
Making a chef.
motivation or something like that, as you mentioned the first 3, is there anything that follows up any more, 2 or 3 thoughts?
Uh, okay, so I'll tell you what I live by. Basically, me as a chef, what I live by, I do have a set of rules that I live by every day,
Hmm.
which no matter what is, the first thing is, no matter what, keep your cool. Because the kitchen is the one place where you will lose your shit, because you are standing in an atmosphere where it is,
Hmm.
where you have 3 4 ovens that is at 240 degrees Celsius, and in
Hmm.
about 3 4 ranges that is huge and burning, and it's a very hot place and stuffy, and you have a lot of pressure going around, people telling you need this going on here, there, whatever.
Hmm.
So you will lose your patience really fast. So the thing is, keep your cool. No matter
Hmm.
what, just keep your cool. The second thing is, no matter what, never mess up your quality. As much as I hate to say it again,
Hmm.
I I mean, every five-star hotel also basically never follows this, because they're more into getting their money made.
Hmm.
So I mean, like, that's one reason I even left five-star hotels, because I didn't like the practices. Because
Hmm.
I was trained in a way by my chefs where quality is the most important thing. Because I'm serving food to someone, so
Hmm.
I mean, someone's trusting me with you know their craving, and I don't get to screw that up and don't get to put them into a hospital for
Hmm.
whatever reason. I mean, I don't want to make money out of that. That isn't fair.
Hmm.
The second thing is quality. Third thing is cleanliness and hygiene. no matter what you're doing, like if it's hot kitchen or pastry, no matter what,
Hmm.
starting from your storage of ingredients to your cooking, make sure it's always clean, no matter what is happening. Even if you're too busy making something, it's fine. Take 2 minutes, wait, clean first, and then do the next thing. Finish one
Wow.
thing, clean, then go for the next thing.
Hmm.
Otherwise, just don't do it. I mean, it's not even worth it. Like if you were an employee in my kitchen, I would abuse you if you don't clean and then do the next thing. I will
I
just
have a
abuse you.
feeling. I
I
can
will. I
already
mean, that's how
feel
it
that.
is. I will just abuse you. I will just abuse you. That's how it is. And then I guess the fourth thing would be, I think these three things are actually more than enough. You'll actually be a good chef. But apart from that, if you ask me, it's always about um, like, trying to understand. I mean, the fourth thing which I would add would be trying to understand what a customer wants
Huh.
and trying to exceed that expectation. I mean, for me, food has always been an experience. It's not about you eating a meal. It's about you remembering that meal for you know a very long time. Like I would want to have a lasting impact on you. Like it's not just about me giving you a plate of food and you eat it and you leave. That's not how it works for me. For me, it's
Hmm.
about me coming and talking to you, asking you how your day was and what kind of stuff you like, and maybe adding a small touch of a personalized thing where you will remember me and that meal for a very long time, and you so that you will come back to me because you
Hmm.
liked it. So it's always about exceeding expectations and giving customers an experience. Because food is an experience. It's just like, see, me as a chef, I also have a lot of alcohol certification. So it's not about, drinking, getting high. It's about having alcohol as an experience with food.
Hmm.
So the same thing with food as well. Food is an experience. It's not just, eating. You can eat at home also. Why do you want to go to a restaurant then? You can eat at home also.
Hmm.
But if you're going somewhere and eating, it's about the experience, the kind of authenticity, the kind of food, the flavors. It's an experience. So it's about giving the customers that experience and not just giving them food. So that's, I guess, my fourth point here, and that's all you really need to be a chef. I mean, come on, it's not rocket science.
Wow. I mean, wow. I'm blown away. Um, Looking back, reminiscing about the person that I met ages ago, and talking to the person few years from the ages
Yeah,
ago. It's
a lot of years.
yeah, things have changed. The fact that you mentioned that you'd
Oh,
abuse the hell out of me, I think that never changed. We've always had our
yeah,
fair
that
share
was
of and
yeah.
at that time,
Yes, both ways also.
yeah, at that time, I think we were even. I know that was someone else. It was not you. I think we had a fair share of arguments, but yeah, that was someone else. But yeah, I mean, wow. This is a different version of you that I've never seen. I mean, I and I'm looking forward to the future. I mean, the fact that you're still doing
Yeah,
your
let's see.
thing. That this,
Yeah, I always will be doing my thing. And
yeah.
hopefully, Philippines will see another craving therapy going on there soon. And let's see.
I have a small question to ask. That is a portion of normally the music conversation here. Is that when you work,
Okay.
do you have a particular? There are two questions actually. It's a two-part question. One is, do you have a ritual
Okay.
before you
Okay.
begin work? That's my first question. And when you are working
Okay.
and you're focusing, do you have like a particular music playlist, or you really want absolute silence when you're working? When you're coming up, when you're doing your business and stuff like that. I mean, first you can answer
Okay.
the morning
So
rituals first. That question would be.
yeah. So ritual before it. I mean, ritual before it. I mean, basically, there is nothing. I know ritual as such. I don't think there is anything. It's just basically walking into the bakery and then switching on your ovens and things like that, and just going about with your day, depending on your orders. So there's not much of a set ritual as such for it,
Yeah.
but the music playlist, yeah. So A hot kitchen will not have music playing because you will have a lot of people yelling
Yeah.
and a lot of noise going around. So a hot kitchen will not have music playing at all. But if it's a
Huh.
pastry or a bakery,
Huh.
you will have music because it's very quiet
Huh.
and everyone will be doing one particular intricate thing. If it's piping uh, 40 cupcakes, they'll be sitting and piping 40 cupcakes. So there is not much of noise going. I mean, you're sitting and piping one thing. So there's always music playing in most of the bakeries at least. I mean, whoever allows it. There are people who don't.
Huh.
But I mean, me personally, my pastry is always music playing.
Huh.
And the kind of music that plays, I mean, like just whatever goes. I mean, like you give me "Sweet Child of Mine" to Michael Jackson, it goes. I don't mind.
You just brought
So,
me back to Michael Jackson, but yeah.
oh yeah, you love Michael Jackson. You love Michael Jackson. I forgot. Oh my god, I think you used to dance so much that I forgot about
Yeah.
it. Oh my god, damn
I
it.
had I had an episode.
Oh,
I had an episode before,
oh,
but yeah.
you were you were so into Michael Jackson. Good lord, you used to walk and talk like him.
Yeah.
Like even general conversation.
I gotta admit, over the years, not seeing anybody or not talking to anybody, it feels good to reconnect with my high school friends, and it's a huge honor for me from
Yeah.
the Rajiv show to of course feature my classmate. I'm looking forward to, hopefully I've been speaking to a lot of our batchmates also. Hopefully I'd feature them as
Mm-hmm.
well, and I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
what
maybe I think
madness.
some of us should actually, all of us come, some of us at least together, come up with some kind of a talk sometime. Maybe
Oh yeah. I I'm
that's
looking
nice.
forward to making that happen.
Yeah, maybe that'll be a good idea.
Yeah. But before we wrap this conversation, is there any word of advice to whoever is tuning in, who is hopefully from Philippines or wherever, from any part of the world, who's tuning into my episode to this episode? Is there any quotation, motivation, or anything that you want to say to them to bring that fire into, of
Yeah.
course,
Can I
pastries?
can I give them advice as a chef?
Yeah.
I mean, can I give them advice as a chef? Yeah, is
Yeah.
that okay?
Hmm.
Okay. So guys, I think the only thing you should keep in mind is all of you see Master Chef and a ton of chefs doing stuff on Instagram, Facebook, and a ton of TV series all year round, and that inspires you to become a chef, especially if you're kids.
Hmm.
But one thing you need to keep in mind is that's not the whole picture. That's just one part of it. Always keep in mind that to be a chef, the first few years, even a decade of your life will actually be you living in misery because it's a lot of work and a lot of dedication and hard work. Not a lot of people actually stick to it once they know the bad side of it. So it's not always about the glamour,
Hmm.
but if you're actually passionate about it, then trust me, it's an amazing industry. Food is something that will never die. People need to eat no matter what.
Hmm.
So just keep your passion up. If you're genuinely passionate about it, then go for it. That's about it.
Wow.
And
Powerful.
also, yeah, that's about it. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff coming from the future legend. It'd be interesting what moniker you're gonna get from me soon. You will get a moniker from me. Don't worry. For this thing, for
Yeah, man.
this. Yeah. Um. Of course. To my fellow listeners, how would they connect with you via social media?
So on social media, I guess it's on Facebook. Then I'm available on Adarsh Thomas, or you can even search for the Craving Therapy on Facebook. And on Instagram, it's the Craving Therapy with an underscore at the end. That's about it. Just type my name, and if you see Craving Therapy anywhere there, it's me. So I can just type hashtag craving therapy, you'll find me. So that's me.
Awesome. Awesome. Guys, follow this future legend. And of course, if you guys are already, if people who are tuning in already are a fan of craving therapy, that'll be interesting. Uh, I'm speaking to the legend, the founder, of course, of craving therapy. With that in mind, thank you so much for this opportunity to have you on my show. I'm looking
Thank,
forward.
thank you so much for having me. It was a great honor and it was amazing talking to you after I know how many years.
Yeah, I'm
But thank you
looking
so much for
forward
the
to having you back.
opportunity.
Uh,
Yeah, sure. I'm sure we can make some time sometime. Yeah, sure, sure.
yeah,
We can do this. This is fun. We should do this.
yeah, and
And thank you so much for having me. And this is amazing what you do. It's not just about having me over here, but I mean, it takes a lot of courage to actually come up and actually host something and do all this.
yeah,
So hats off to you, buddy. I mean, yeah,
yeah.
thank you.
And salute to you, salute to your project, and salute to the future. I'm looking forward, like I said, and I am proud of you as a friend, as an old high school friend. I'm always proud of you. Go dominate, and if you're looking for moral support, I'm always here for moral support, pal. Much love. Take care of yourself, and for the listeners as well
Yep.
who are tuning in,
Take care,
folks.
guys.
Yeah, cheers and stay safe. All right.